imagine? 30 years ago, no one spoke of climate change. In fact, no one spoke of fake news either. Yet today, the pair are uneasy bedfellows. Like Bert and Ernie, Macron and Trump, peanut butter and jelly. Climate change and fake news. It's hard to escape. There's never been as much information on the topic as there is today. But with this wealth of information comes disinformation. Allow me to present Exhibit A, an interview on a prestigious BBC programme with a well-known climate denier.
The rate of warming, according to the data, is much slower than the models used by the IPCC.
Factually inaccurate. The IPCC is, by the way, the world's leading body of scientists studying the topic. And when it comes to the climate, most of the disinformation comes from skeptics. The last few years have seen the amount of fake news skyrocket, of course thanks to some help from social media. But it's not only the platform that has evolved.
Something has changed in the last few years, where instead of trying to get people to believe something different, one of the tactics now is just to flood the social media, flood the airwaves with multiply confusing elements, just so that people don't know who to believe.
In this new era, debunking false claims has become a full-time job for journalists and other experts. Sometimes they're easy to decipher. For example, when Donald Trump said he had the largest inauguration crowd in US history, it's relatively easy to get hold of a photo and verify its authenticity. Donald Trump's inauguration on the left, Barack Obama's on the right. But with climate change being so complicated, it's harder to cut through the barrage of misinformation. Few people have the expertise to know whether this graph or this graph is right. That makes climate change, like most science, the perfect target.
Scientists don't give you exact specific answers, they provide you a range of values. The problem is people who are attacking science will take that element of the scientific method and use it to confuse the public. They'll say scientists have uncertainty, therefore they don't know anything that's going on.
According to Climate Feedback, a site where scientists rate the accuracy of articles from mainstream media, approximately one big fake news story is shared widely every month. What makes it most confusing is that the usual suspects are not always the worst, and vice versa. Let me explain. One of the most shared articles on social media was published by a Fox News affiliated station and is actually highly accurate. The year before that, however, National Geographic came under fire for sharing this video of a polar bear with the headline, "This is what climate change looks like." Experts later explained it could have been dying from starvation due to sickness or even old age. Feeling lost? Well, you're not alone. And just to make things a little more complicated, during Facebook's recent 10-year challenge, it was those calling for more action on climate change who got a little fuzzy with the facts.
It was a user in Canada who shared a photo of a glacier supposed to be taken 10 years apart. In the first photo, we see a glacier from 2008 that looks very imposing. And in the second photo, taken 10 years later, we see the same glacier which has melted. But in fact, these photos have absolutely nothing to do with each other. The first one was taken in Antarctica and the second in the Arctic. It's not at all the same glacier. It gives climate skeptics material to say, look, they have to use photos that are not at all related. Maybe what that means is climate change doesn't exist at all.
So what can you do to protect yourself against fake news? Our guest is here to explain.
Social media made the problem worse because mostly in the past, journalists were the ones picking information that were to be broadcasted, while social media changed that to give that power in the hands of the crowd. So people upvote or like information, and that's the basis of how information propagates. So information that might be sensational or surprising might be the ones that travel the farther, even though they might not be actually verified information. So yeah, I would say the first thing for people to do is to not just trust what they see on Facebook, but also go and investigate a little bit who are the sources behind that. So at least click the article and see if it's from a reputable source or news organization, or if it's from just a new blog, it might not be as reliable information. And also verify that the scientists who are being quoted are actually experts on that topic, that they are not maybe retired or working for some industries that have an interest at stake, like coal and oil industries, of course.
So perhaps you think, I'm only going to read peer-reviewed science journals for my information. Well, not so fast. A raft of official-sounding publications, such as the Journal of Earth and Environmental Sciences, have started popping up on the internet. They look and sound rigorous, but behind them are predatory publishers who'll accept any article for a fee. Previously safe territory, now a new frontier for fake news.